Good morning, Hexicans. Oh, it's a lot of feedback today. How are you guys doing today? This is the DeFi Crypto Alliance show that you're watching, and we're super excited and pumped to be on this journey where we're going to use cryptocurrency as a wealth creation tool and use real estate as a wealth preservation tool down the road when the market cycle tells us it's time. Today, Dane is off. It's his birthday. So if you guys want to wish him a happy birthday on Twitter, I would recommend going there and doing so and up his feed. It'd be a lot of fun. But it's his birthday, so he's out celebrating with his kids. He went to the water park today, so it'll be a lot of fun for him. And yeah, I just wanted to come on, do an open mic show with you guys, rap a little bit about everything PulseChain. This weekend, I do want to make sure we reiterate this, is the PulseChain Conference. So if get in there and watch, support, hit the likes, hit the subscribe, and let's get the algorithm to boost the PulseChain Conference into the stratosphere. Let's show all the other crypto ecosystems what the Hexakin and PulseChain community is made of. Let's get out there and spread the good word of PulseChain. And yeah, it'll be a lot of good speakers. We are speaking on Sunday. I do believe it's 9 p.m. EST. I'll have to double check Matty Allen's. He's got the schedule out. If you guys haven't seen it, you can go to Twitter on Allen's feed and find it, or the PulseChain Conference. If you guys are not subscribed to the PulseChain Conference, I'd recommend doing so. I think it's actually called PulseChain Con, because he had to abbreviate conference. Anything PulseChain, and it'll be a lot of fun. Guys, I'm going to drop the StreamYard link today in the chat. Come on and rap. I am running solo today, so it'd be a lot of fun to have someone come up here and talk anything PulseChain, talk about the PulseChain Conference. We can talk about money. We can talk about real estate. I don't really care. I'm always an open book, and I love just communicating and engaging with you guys, the community. You guys are what make PulseChain. You and the builders, and we appreciate you every single day. Without you guys, I don't believe would have an ecosystem. Richard Hart's great. I love him to death, but you need more than just Richard Hart. You got to have the community. You got to have the builders. And PulseChain, in my opinion, is turning out to be just an absolute beast of an ecosystem. So come on and let's talk anything PulseChain. Let's have a bit of a pre-conference, if you will, before the PulseChain Conference takes place. And yeah, so I'd love to hear what you guys are saying. Let's go ahead and go to the chat. All right, we got Retro Static. Good day, party people. Man, it is Friday. The weather is beautiful out here in Puerto Rico, and I am ready, man. And I'm going to be tuning in to the PulseChain Conference all throughout the weekend. I can't wait. There's going to be so many good speakers who will be on the conference, and I'm excited to see what they got to say. The last conference, we had a really cool spot. If you guys didn't see it, I would recommend going back and watching it. We had Robert Allen, who's a billionaire. He's a billionaire from real estate, and we've onboarded him into the Hexakin and PulseChain community. And we had him come on the conference and talk about, why he's in crypto, why he's specifically in this ecosystem. I mean, we're the reason why he's in, but and he talked about even adding, the strategies that we've been teaching him, which is like, liquidity providing, some staking stuff, like, with the liquid loans and earn, and even the fetch now that it's out live. We taught him a lot of these different strategies, him and his son, and
Can you hear me okay? There.
And now they night.
Yeah, your mic's working. There, you're good.
And hello, checking. There we go. Checking. I don't want to touch it. Are you speaking at the PulseChain conference? I know you've been on a couple of the other conferences before, and that's when you even talked about your mastermind and what the advantages of creating a mastermind is or joining one. I've always been a member of masterminds throughout my entire entrepreneurial journey. But are you going to be speaking?
No, I'm not. When I have something to say, I'm ready. But otherwise, I'm cool not partaking. So
okay, yeah. No worries, man. No worries. Yeah. That's why we have our show. You're on the PulseChain Pre-Conference show.
Totally. So
man.
So is part of your? Nobody could hear you off the gate. So where's Dane? Where's Dane today?
Oh, wait, was I on silent the whole entire time when I was talking?
Yeah.
It's funny. Right. I saw Randy Hilarski do that the other week on one of his streams. He was on silent for like 20 minutes. and then I went ahead and replicated exactly what he did. Yeah, it's Dane's birthday today, and he's taking his kids to the water park, out enjoying the day. We got beautiful weather here in Puerto Rico, so he's taking the day off, and so I'm running the show, and that's what's going on there. He will be speaking though with me on the PulseChain conference on Sunday night. That's what I was talking about all the time. Some of the conference, and geez, I can't believe I was muted the whole time.
God. Hey, we got you. We understood you through your facial expressions, your excitement, your exuberance. I mean, that's all it took.
Everybody, as always, right? Like, no. Oh man! Okay, well, again, guys, this is Open Mic Friday. This is the pre-PulseChain conference. Come in and rap and talk about anything PulseChain, anything real estate, anything money, some of the new protocols that are launching. In fact, Frank, we would love to hear your input about the new iBurn call that's coming out. It should be launching today, and it's going to be on the ICOSA ecosystem. There right now, it's that's the GIF and PGIF. Did you get any? Did you grab a piece of that little GIF?
Yeah, I got both GIF and PGIF. I was late, but I got it.
I was too.
And that's the thing is I notice when I get information, sometimes I don't always take action right away. Like I heard last Friday to watch RH Max's video on it, but I didn't have time to watch the video until over the weekend, and I still didn't finish it. So I ended up buying it on Monday. So it's like you almost, anyway, you can never know, but
you can't, right?
No, you can't. But I will say this. So I've been thinking about the iBurn thing, listening to many streams on it, trying to get as much, many smart people talking about it as, that I can talk to and learn from. So if you think about it, look at how much effort. I mean, this is kind of what's going into if you use your ICOSA to put it in there and what the risk is and what the risk isn't. And so think about this. We all got into the ICOSA protocol and Hedron a year or two ago, right? So we learned that protocol. We did all the stuff that caused it to work. We had 100% conviction in it. And it, let's face it, it didn't do well. It hasn't done well yet. People believe in it, right? Price-wise, it hasn't done well, right? So
right.
now you're at a point where, okay, wait a minute. I'm taking risk on top of already risk, right? You don't know whether the iBurn is going to work or not, which I'm not trying to spread any FUD, but I'm just saying, think of all the time and effort you put into creating Hedron and
ICOSA.
ICOSA protocol, everything, the HSIs, all that stuff. Because it is not, for me, it wasn't an easy process. I had to learn it step by step, put a lot of time and effort into. Now you're at a point now where you're like, okay, and now I've ICOSA. Funny story is when I got into Hedron and then ICOSA came along, my ICOSA is worth, it's still, the whole thing is down, but from where I bought it, but my ICOSA is the valuable thing right now versus the Hedron, right?
Yeah.
So now you have to make a choice. Am I gonna? I'm not saying it's a sacrifice. I'm just saying that it's an opportunity cost or not, where you've got to put your ICOSA in along with Pulse or eICOSA and determine whether or not this is a good choice, right? And how it plays out, nobody knows, right? And so there's
Right.
one aspect of what I'm looking at, like all the effort. It's not just, and you could buy it off the market and put it in, right? You could just buy it off from the open market or use your existing stuff. So there's the easy way, or the last year and a half, 2 years, we've done it. We've built this, our ICOSA and our Hedron, right? So then you've got, and I think that Kool-Aid and what's his name?
Gifford, Kool-Aid. Yep.
Hey, I mean, it sounds like, I don't think it's one of these things where it's a smokescreen on how to describe what they're actually doing. I think he was very specific. I think the bet is on him and based on what his depth of knowledge is with this. And it sounds like, to me, it could be a pretty good play. So, I mean,
well, there's two ways. There's two ways you could play the game, Frank. You don't have to go and burn your ICOSA with Pulse to play the game. By just holding ICOSA, if you're still holding that bag or accumulating down here in the lows, which Sami's been showing it down here in the lows, saying it's leverage on Hex. And so, like, just by holding ICOSA, you're also participating, because if the protocol works like it's intended to work, it should do the exact same thing it's doing in the Gifford chart. It should push up those assets, the ICOSA assets. So just by holding those tokens, you're participating in the iBurn protocol. You don't have to go and burn your ICOSA with Pulse to participate in that part. Now, that's one piece of the puzzle, sure. And you can go ahead and do that. But you don't need to do that to be participating in this. Ideally, it's supposed to, that's what's supposed to be so amazing about this protocol, is that you can indirectly get results out of this thing by holding all the tokens that it's going to be deployed on. So right now, first we're seeing it with the version of this on the PGIF and Gifford chart. And I got, full disclosure, guys, I have a position in GIF. I'll tell you what I did. I took a loan off of my Hex inside the Flex protocol. And then I got a triple out of GIF, and I sold my position back to pay the loan back. So now I got a free position, right? So I can let that thing just ride up to the moon, and I feel guilt or okay, it's going to cost me anything. But yeah, it's working really well with the Gifford chart. It'll be interesting to see how it works on something with a very high inflation like ICOSA or even Hedron. And that, to your point, Frank, ICOSA has done a little bit better than Hedron, or it's been worth a little bit more, because the Hedron inflation was just brutal. I mean, in my opinion, I think Alex is a freaking genius, and I think he's got a big brain, but I feel like he gave too much. And I know your OGs hate this, but I think he gave too much inflation to the OGs. He shouldn't have done the 10x multipliers on all the legacy stakes. It should have been just 10x opinion. And I could be totally wrong about this. Who the hell am I? I'm just doing the internet talking. But I would have 10x multiplier on any new HSI stakes during the time period is how I'd have done it to promote people to make HSI stakes. That's where I would have done the 10x hedron. I mean, it's maybe in the long term, it was more advantageous to do it this way. I don't know. Like I said, I'm new to game theory, tokenomics, and these guys know a lot more than I do. But yeah, it'll be fun to see, Frank, what happens with the iBurn. I'm just happy. Here's what I'm happy about. I'm happy that they're building. I'm happy that they're, deploying these protocols they already have. Like, let's make the things we have better. Like, for example, like what's ways that we can make Hex better? Let's think about these things. Hex also has a high inflation rate. Like, can we prop up this coin? Can we make this coin, is the iBurn technology so good it absorb the Hex sharks who love to dump Hex? I mean, some of these guys have, multiple millions of Hex they dump every single month because they have so much. These guys were in the early days, right? And I would love to see some of that inflation be offset with the iBurn technology. Man, we could be one of the first ecosystems that starts, really pumping before retail gets here for this technology. Like, that's the dream, right? Whether it happens or not, I don't know, but it's fun to think about.
Yeah, it's an experiment. Like Kool-Aid said, it's an experiment, like Gifford said, it's an experiment. And, everybody's got blind spots. You, me, everybody in this ecosystem has blind spots.
We all do.
And if there's somebody that is really has an integrous idea, who is really committed to making a difference, they're gonna be inspired to help somebody's blind spot and create a product around it that helps it move forward. So, at least that's what I think. That's where I'm coming from. It's like, people are looking to improve and have those conversations about it. And everybody's, the developers and stuff all talk behind the scenes. They know what's going on, for the most part, I would think, at least from what I've heard. So I think that I think it's a good experiment. It could be really fun. And if it does work, it's going to make a huge impact.
Dude, that's new technology I don't think any of the crypto space has seen, because obviously if we'd have had this type of tech before, it had been deployed on the Phantom network like last cycle, or AVAX, or even in the Ethereum network, right? I don't think we've seen something that has like a perma bull, perma pump type, tokenomic on anything we've seen in crypto. Everything gets crushed in the bear market, including Bitcoin. Bitcoin lost 77% of its value, on the dollar. Even, when the FTX collapsed, that was the bottom of this last cycle. It went down to 15K all the way from, I think the last, what was the high? Like 68K or something like that, 68K to 15K. So like everything gets crushed in the bear run, or the bear market. And that's where we always say, like, we want to offset some of that exposure for us into real estate when that time comes, because, man, real estate's a safe harbor. It's a safe place. You can store your value. Even if you have a bear market in real estate, you lose like maybe 10-20% of your value in some A markets like California, Arizona, Utah, Washington. Like the A markets, you might lose 20%, but it's nothing like crypto. So yeah, it'll be fun to see, man. I hope they're successful. And I hope they deployed on Hex next. I want my Hex bags pumped. Damn, I feel like, Frank, PulseChain, PulseX, even Inc especially, has the narratives, and I feel like these assets retail will flock to when the time is right. X, I'm still a little bit reluctant about in my head. Once again, I could be wrong, guys, right? But I can still be reluctant about that. It's a cycle 2 coin. It's DeFi. People don't understand T shares. So for me, and I got Hex bags. Look, I'm a Hex dolphin. I became a Hex dolphin in the HSI auctions that Alex created from this last go around. And I have Hex bags, liquid too. I put up in the protocol, so I own bags of Hex, but I would love to see this technology be deployed on that next, because I feel like it needs a bigger a bigger helping hand, in my opinion. And I could be wrong. It's a bigger helping hand than the other three. And then go to the other three. Maybe put it on Pulse next. I don't know. Or maybe put it on Pulse. Like Pulse is, you know, you hear me? I keep cutting in and out. There we go. All right. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on it. And I'm glad that they're building on this stuff, man. It's super exciting.
They're going to watch. They'll intuitively know what's next. You know, once this succeeds,
yeah,
they're going to know what's next. You know, so and then the community is going to help. You know, help bring that. You know, they're going to list. I get the sense they listen to what's going on in the community, so the community may have partake in that as well on what's next. You know, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Oh, and the other thing is too, when it launches, it's not like, from how I understand it, I don't know. So help me understand this. Maybe you understand this better, but so you basically go to their website, you put in your eICOSA and your Pulse, right, for right now, but then it doesn't launch. It's not like so there's no pressure right now it's not like it's launching. Yeah. So how does that work then? Is it once it's put in, then when do they launch it then?
It's supposed to be deployed. The contract is supposed to be deployed on iCOSA today at some point. Okay. So I don't know, man. I don't know the intricacies of like how it's going to be deployed, if it immediately is going to apply by prior to iCOSA. I don't know, man.
Maybe Paul
the one thing it's
come on.
What's that? Maybe
Paul Sachs will come on and help explain that.
Yeah, he would probably know a little bit more than I. He's usually deeper in these things than what I am. I mean, I usually learn a lot of things from him. You know, when he comes into our mastermind call, he's always bringing. Like, he was one of the ones that brought Solid X to our attention. And Solid X is one of my biggest meme coin bags. So I mean, I'm all about it. I have no intention of selling that bag anytime soon. And Urban Productions, if you're in the chat, man, I still haven't sold my Corvette. So we still haven't been scammed on the Solid X scam. So I think it's been more than 2 weeks. I remember he was like, oh, give it 2 weeks. We're at 2 weeks, bro. Let's go. Where's the scam? So, guys, I dropped the StreamYard link in the chat. Come on and let's wrap. This is the PulseChain Pre-Conference stream. Obviously, I see Matty Allen in here. Man, we're going to be watching the conference over the weekend. It's going to be super fun. If you guys haven't gone over there and subscribed to his channel, go do so you can watch the PulseChain conference. And I think there's a lot of good speakers, man. It's a great lineup this go around. A lot of builders, which I love to see. You know, and just a lot of deep, you know, game theory type community members, stuff that I am not like, you know, my peanut brain has a hard time understanding. So, yeah.
Should we see if we can get, should we put the Sprack signal up and see if we can get Sprackburger on today?
That would be great, man. I would love to do a little bit of charting if he's willing. In fact, I was doing a little bit of charting before the show, Frank, and I'll even share my screen. But yeah, Sprack, if you're here, come on. We would love to
put Sprackburger in the comments if you want Sprackburger to come on.
You want to just all right, let's see if we can get our chartist on stream today. But here's what I was looking at, which is extremely bullish in my opinion, Frank. And I know, like, let's see, share screen. I am no TA guys, so don't hold me to this stuff. You know, I know some basics, but man, let me know if you can see my screen, Frank.
Yep.
This is PulseChain, okay? Obviously, that's what I always love to chart because that's the main layer one, right? And that's always what I'm always trying to accumulate more of. For some people, it's Hex. Even for some people, it's PulseX. You know, people like West Coast Crypto likes PulseX. Well, I like Pulse, and so like that's what I'm always trying to accumulating to me, man, this looks like a bottoming, a local bottoming. Obviously, we had a bottom, back in, I don't know, September, October of last year from the SEC FUD. But to me, man, and I would love if Spratt came on, that we're making a higher low and we're creating this W. We're kind of coming back. I mean, I think it'd be healthy if we touch back on the this trend line here. Obviously, we need to break this next level of resistance. And I think if we can get above here, we can maybe trend in this area, which would be, above the 4065. And maybe we trend, I don't know what the next level would be. I see a lot of liquidity here. There's a lot of liquidity here. Maybe it trends in that area up to 4072, up to even 408, which for me, man, is fine, Frank, because I always tell everybody, if you guys want to keep jeeting your bags or even just make us run sideways for a few months, that I've got no problem with that, because Frank, I'm still accumulating. Like I'm in here buying, whenever I can. And it's, I got money that comes in every single month from our business, and I'm accumulating the lows as much as possible. And if we can get them while it's still looking, I think there's going to be a day, I don't know when, where we'll look back and be like, holy crap, buying 406 PulseChain, buying like Ethereum at $1 or Ethereum at $1.50. I don't know, right?
Or
whatever the
Matic under a penny.
Or Matic under a penny. What's Matic now at the bottom of the bear?
Probably somewhere between 72 and I'll check real quick. But the thing that I noticed about the chart here with PulseChain is similar to Matic, and I think I've shared this before on your stream. They're at 66 cents. So if you look at the first year and a half of its existence, it was choppy, just like the PulseChain chart right now. It had its peaks, it had its lulls. It looked like it was going to, it did a 10x in, like from 0.003 to 3 cents, I think at one point. But from what I remember is, I got in at 1.18 cents, right? But what I remember most is how disappointed the community was. They were at each other's feet, at each other's neck, fighting, kind of upset.
Sounds familiar.
Because it was going nowhere, and then it took off. So, I don't know. I think it's a good sign. And I've said this too, and I kind of started to elaborate on it a little bit. I thought about it afterwards, but we're lucky because we're not in a bull market with PulseChain. It is not in a bull market. A bull market, a bull market is similar to a bear market. It doesn't last as long, I don't think, on the numbers, on the days, as a bear market does. But you know how terrible we felt for like the last year and a half with the bear market? Well, the bull market is where you feel really good for a long sustained period of time, and everybody's in profit. So it's easier to be in a bull market, right? So things go up and down, and they do go, sometimes it'll make you want to throw up, but you're okay with it because you're in profit. A lot of people in PulseChain are not in profit. That's what makes it difficult right now. So if you can just hang in there a little bit longer, myself included, you included, everybody watching, I think we're going to see sustained levels of, I don't want to say euphoria, but just feeling good, like you want to quit your job and go into crypto full time. And go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Finish your statement.
I'm trying to remember what the name of the YouTuber's website is, where you can track the YouTube activity there's hardly, the number of crypto YouTubers is not that high right now. So
it's not. Yeah, I saw that too on Twitter. The sentiment for like views for people watching YouTube and new YouTubers, it's at an all-time like lull. or for at least for the market cycle. And to your point, Frank, I saw somebody ask in the chat, and then we get our Batman signal worked. This was great. We got Sprack Burger on, but like somebody had asked, when do you stop buying? I don't know who was out. I think it was Mitch in the chat. Well, anyways, I'll answer. For me is, to your point there, Frank, is like, as long as I'm not in profit, for me, that means I need to keep buying. Like, I'm not in profit, so I'm gonna keep buying. I'm gonna keep buying. Now, at what point in profit do I stop buying? It's probably somewhere around. It's very little, because I don't have to. Maybe it's a 1x, maybe it's a 2x. I don't have to, because I've accumulated so much down here in these lows. I don't have to keep accumulating once I'm in profit, because I've accumulated so much over this last year since we've been live. So I have no need. So like once we do a 2x, I could chill out and let everyone keep buying. Now, if we drop back down where I'm not in profit again, then that's my cue. Oh, I need to do a DCA. Like, that's always my cue. Like, when we were pumping this last time, we got up to like, I don't know, we were where were we at? We were a sack price, and PulseX hit sack price. Like, I stopped dollar cost averaging in at that point. I was like, okay, I'm gonna be where the rides. I had stopped DCAing at some point, and then because I was in profit, and now I'm like, well, I'm not in profit again, so I need to start DCAing again. I gotta start. That's my signal. I got to start buying again. So there's kind of that answer to that question, Mitch. I don't know if that helped. Man, we got Sprack Burger. The Batman signal worked. Hopefully he can do a little bit of TA. And we got the man, the myth, the legend, Matty Allen. If you guys are not with him right now or subscribed, you're going to miss the PulseChain Conference, where we're speaking on Sunday. So make sure you do that. We're going to come on hot and heavy, Matty, for the PulseChain Conference. How you guys doing? What's going on? What's the good word?
Hey, guys.
Doing great. My audio is a little choppy, so I'm going to fix that here real quick.
Okay, well, we'll go to Sprack. Sprack, are you there, brother? His audio is choppy too, I guess. the Batman signal works, Frank, but it didn't work.
Way to go, guys, putting Sprack Burger in the chat, man. We know what works now. Jeez.
Right. I know how to get some TA done, right? If we need some TA. Sprack, we need some TA, man. Has PulseChain bottomed?
He's probably setting up some elaborate. Are you there?
No, he's not there. We'll check back in on him. He keeps muting and unmuting to see if it's working. We can't hear you. We can't hear you, brother.
Let's see. How about now?
There we go.
Oh, we can hear you, my friend. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Sorry, I'm good, man. How you guys doing?
Good.
Blessed, bro. Always blessed. Good to have you guys as friends. Makes me blessed.
Yeah, same here.
Totally, same. Yeah.
So have we bottomed out?
Yeah, man. Did you see that little? I mean, look, I'm no TA guy, but did you see my little TA? Tell me if I'm like wrong. I would love you to tell me if like I'm the worst TA guy, but you tell me. Is this right? Do we make a higher low? We have a W. Like, how's my TA here, brother?
Yeah, that looks good. What time frame is this?
I'm on the 4 hour, because if I go daily, like it shows, it's still showing.
Okay, there you go. All right. So this is a pretty pretty long drawdown here that we've been kind of going through, and so you would need to break up above a little bit higher than we are now to get that second pullback. I think that going down on the lower time frames is not enough information. It could give you like what's going to happen next week or next couple of weeks, but this bigger, longer drawdown, we want to see this start to recover, at least pull back into the 23 fib level, and then get a rejection from, let's just say one of these previous support levels, and then when it pulls back, then you can see if strength starts to hold up on those pullbacks. But yeah, I mean, this could be a pivot point where we're at, where you are currently sitting. But yeah, we would need to break up a little bit and then do a nice pullback, and then that could give you like your confirmation. But if you're just DCAing, then you're getting good prices.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, I agree. If you're DCAing, I mean, I don't know what more you want. That's why I tell all the Twitter jeets every day, Sprat, I need to keep selling so I can keep DCAing.
Yeah. I mean, like we DCA'd. I mean, we've been talking about this for years. Like we were buying the bottom after the SEC went after RH, and we just, I told you guys flat out, like that's it. I'm deploying the rest of my dry powder down here, and it was the best time to do it. And I don't personally, I don't need to DCA anymore, because I went in and I bought the farm down there, and so
okay. There we go. There's the answer to the question again. When do you stop? We had that question earlier.
Yeah, you stop when you're in profit, a certain amount in profit, but that's subject to personal. For me, I filled up my boat down there, and I'm okay, because when we did start to move up higher, I also started to tiny bits DCA out. And that gave me some dry powder to invest into other things on the PulseChain ecosystem, and mainly some of the memes that were running. And we did pretty good. We did pretty good with those, like Solid X, or like Dick with Butts, and Cheaton. And I know that this is silly, but it
is.
I don't care. It's a chart. Just give me a chart. I don't care what the ticker is. And if it's making some movement, I want in on the ride. And if it's giving me profits, I want to take profits. But not something I recommend for the average person. You would have to be on top of it, and you could lose a lot of money real fast. So none of this is advice.
Did you hear that the Solid X whale will make his first live audio appearance ever on the Hex
great.
Conference?
That sounds like a sounds like a sell the news event.
Hey, I mean,
I'm kidding.
It seems like it's pretty far down from where it was. So
it is.
It is,
yeah.
And it could be a sell the news event, Sprack. But I mean, every big one happens, it sells a news event too. And looks what happens after the sell the news event. You have a year to year and a half of a parabolic bull run. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, seeing RH's lawyers show their cards on day 4 of the Hex conference in January, that wasn't a sell the news event, was it?
That was you better hope you've been buying the whole time.
I was smashing the buy button too. Yeah.
Crap.
So was the OA and the Godwell. Sounds like Sprack was too. Everybody.
Yeah. Sprack loaded his bags. I remember when he was telling us in the mastermind, he was like, man, I'm buying these guys. I'm buying this. And so it was, looking back now, I tell people I feel like I was throwing my money down the toilet, but I was throwing some big clips down there in the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah. The way that I figured it was the worst. Well, there's worse and then there's worse, but it could have been the worst possible news that would have come out, because RH lives in a country where there's no extradition, and he committed no crimes in the US. And the overreach on the SEC is quite extreme. So even if he did something wrong, they still wouldn't be able to catch him. And he didn't commit a crime. It was just a fine, which was actually tiny. I think he could have paid it off, but whatever. It's RH. He's not going to do shit like that. And I figured that if he did just pay it off and just, make it go away, that was some extreme FUD for for something that could have gone away with, you know, a few $1,000,000 or something like that, which, you know, he could easily have done. And I was like, okay, there's like 5 ways that this could recover. And the price had dropped by like 80% at that point. And I was like, the only thing worse than this is that he dies. So because he can't go to prison. They can't extradite him. So the only thing worse than this is that he dies. And he's not going to. Nobody knows, but I was like, okay,
I'm bullish on his longevity. You know, he raised a lot of money for Aubrey de Grey. So if he dies now, we're gonna. I don't even want to joke that we're gonna sue Aubrey, but you know, like we're gonna have some answers with Aubrey.
Well, he's got to stop. He's got to stop eating all those barbecue ribs and get on a treadmill.
Well,
I'm not saying anything he doesn't already say. He knows it. He knows
there was precedent with Kraken. They settled and paid fines, and then the government said, "We're back. Here's some bigger fines. Here's some bigger fines. We're going to accuse you of more things that you're doing wrong," instead of going after FTX. You know, instead of going after all these obvious Alex Mashinsky whenever he was running his scam. So I mean, it's I think just this idea that Richard could have paid $11 million and you know, like then there would be no more FUD. Isn't necessarily true, but I agree that like him fighting is a much different path than he could have taken.
Right. Yeah, I just saw that this was the most FUD that we would possibly see. And and I was like, okay, but this is a good time to buy. And that's when I kind of like deployed, and it took a while, right? It was down there for like months. And then
it
was down there for months, and we were kind of like, even Sami was just like, oh my God, this is absolutely depressing. You know, and when Sami's bearish, it's like, okay, yeah, that's like absolutely bottom. And I think he's
bearish right now.
He's bearish now.
Yeah.
He's bearish now. And he's great. I love Sami. He's great.
I do too.
But when he was saying like PulseX, when he was like, oh my God, these PulseX people, because you know the PulseX people got kind of a really bad luck. They were the later SAC, and so when the money came out, they were at a third of the value of Pulse. So you're already like down 60-70% right there, just from your dollar value, and then it drops another 80%. So like it was dismal. It was absolutely dismal. And so, you know, did we shake out a lot of the weak players during that time? I think we did, but at the same time, we have people that as soon as the price got back to the SAC rate, they rotated out. They round tripped. They did the break even soy boy. But
I mean, if Sami was here when the sacrifices were happening, then he would understand that it was no expectations, and the PulseX guys are up infinitely from zero because that's what they were promised. So that's a fun angle to try to like square with the whole weak hands thing, because it's like when you give people free money, maybe you have more weak hands than if people were expecting something. But I guess we'll see once PulseX, you know, is finally way higher than the SAC rate.
Yeah, I mean, we were nobody was promised anything, but we were expecting something. You know, even Chuck E. Cheese tokens, right? They come out of the machine and I go and buy a teddy bear with them. But
I like points.
You're expecting
I like points.
Something.
There we go. Yeah.
Something.
I was expecting some points, Sprack. Now, whether those points are worth money or not, that's another conversation.
Correct. And that's like the VC model, right? VCs, what do? They fund companies that are raising capital. Maybe they pull $30 million on a widget. You're trying to design, you know, some new toilet bowl cleaner, and you raise a bunch of money, and then, you know, your project fails and that VC lost their money, and that's kind of how it works. You invest in 10 companies, 8 of them flop, one of them gives you your money back, and then the 10th one absolutely runs. And that's how this is. The problem with the formulas is that this is retail, and retail doesn't have the capital to say, okay, I'm going to put 10 grand into this company, 10 grand into this other company. I'm going to go and meet with the CEOs. I'm going to go analyze the product. I'm going to hire a couple of devs to review it. Retail is just retail. And there's this thing about like, crypto was invented to get rid of the middleman and to create egalitarian finance where there's financial inclusion. Why are we being gate kept by Wall Street and all of these people? And so like, I believe in that ethos and on that side of the coin, but there's the other side of the coin that I'm also kind of listen to, and I'm on the fence about. And that is that, retail could be where they're at because they deserve it. We make the bonehead mistakes, like the middle class. The curse of the middle class is basically you get a raise, and what do? You go buy a motorcycle, you go get an RV, you go buy a boat, and so
because
you go
the dollar's
buy,
a poor store of value. Yeah, you have to buy something.
You have to
the
buy
system
something,
is
right?
corrupt.
But what do they?
Not because of the individual.
So what they
blamed.
do is they gradually increase their quality of life. It's an upward spiral, and so you'll get that bigger house, you'll get that bigger car, you'll get that that nice thing that you've been advertised. Whatever you've been advertised, whatever you've been sold to think is part of having a good life. And so you'll go and you'll attain those things, and then you'll look back and say, see, look what I've done. But all you did was sort of side straddle, but you never moved up in terms of the capital markets. Like you should have been investing in other products and in assets. And that's where the middle class tends to fail, is that they fall for the shiny object syndrome, or they're trying to keep up with each other, or they're trying to artificially pretend like they're this rich when they're not, to impress
instant
people.
gratification versus delayed gratification, right?
So you go and you work extra hours to get that bonus. You work extra hours to get that promotion. So you spend all this time working for a job you hate, for a boss you hate, to get money you don't need, to impress people who don't care about you.
Yep. I mean, liabilities give us instant gratification. If I go buy a Corvette tomorrow, that's a liability and I get an instant gratification. Assets, real estate, stocks, crypto, assets give you delayed gratification. You have to wait around. You got to wait for them to grow. You got to have patience. You got to have diamond hands. If that's what if you're in crypto, that's the difference in our economy is built off of the system that's built off of the failing dollar, to Maddie's point. And it's, we're out there quickly, racking up more debt and spending our failing dollars instead of investing in more delayed gratification type assets. So that's the problem.
Yeah. The reason that people, when have visited other countries since I became a full-fledged crypto person, and I talked to them about Hex and delaying gratification, it's just it's not culturally relevant to them because nothing stores value in their society, at least of all their money. So cryptocurrency is a really bad name for people who live in impoverished conditions, because currency is the main thing that's stealing from them, is stealing their purchasing power.
Correct.
As you say, people are working for, and even in developed countries, people work for symbols of status, social signaling, buying $1,000 shirt that is the same as a $10 shirt is the free market has decided, and maybe evil advertisers too, that that's that's valuable because people have a need for love and attention and like all these things that they could get in a better way by by not subscribing to such a corrupt system. But yeah, just leaving your dollars in cash. There's I had an aha moment when I was thinking like, why is it that half of Americans don't have $1,000 in the bank for an emergency? And I'm like,
Scary.
oh yeah, it's because they have to spend all their money because they're being robbed by having cash savings. So they have to put it into a house if they can't afford it, and then you take a loan on the house if you have an emergency and that type of thing, or you sell your used car if you have an emergency, or you just try not to have emergencies, which is silly. But that's where crypto really comes to the rescue, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree. Yeah. And that added volatility is the feature, right? Because these other assets, like I came from the stock world, and I traded in Forex markets, futures, options, and things like that. And you could build your wealth in stocks and other assets. It's just that people are not disciplined enough to play the long game. They're not like when you're young, you already know how to live with very little. You're scrappy, right? You're hungry. You can survive off of I'm when I was in college, and this is maybe like storytelling, but I 50-cent burritos from a 7-Eleven. So between classes, because I had to work till midnight and get home, get up at 6 a.m., go back to class, and then like tutor between classes, and then just because I couldn't, my parents were poor, I couldn't pay for college, so I had to work through school, which made it last 6 years instead of 4. And I picked a hard degree, which was like engineering, and I wanted to quit every day. I wanted to quit because it was making me unhealthy. It was making me stressed out. It was making, but there was something that said, no, you got to keep going. You got to keep going. You got to keep going. I cherish those moments now, because if I can get through that, I can get through anything that life throws at me. And so there's this stoicism that maybe it's a cultural thing with our country, but there's this stoicism that has been lost. And I think Marcus Aurelius said it, that a nation is born stoic, but dies Epicurean. And maybe here in America, we're a little bit too spoiled. Maybe we're a little bit too reliant on the government. Maybe we're a little bit too entitled. Maybe we need to become scrappy again. Maybe we need to, and that's where unfortunately, that's where markets tend to strike back and sort of cause collapses, and we don't want to see anybody left out on the street, anything like that. But every time there's a economic collapse, or like what's happening with the dollar seems to be collapsing. It's going to hurt a lot of people. It already is, right? You're already seeing it hit the $5 burger became a $10 burger. Your $10 burger is going to become a $50 burger, and so on.
It's like that saying, Sprack. I was wondering right there before you keep going. There's that saying that, what is it? Hard times create hard men, but hard men create easy times, right? Or fun times, and then easy times create easy men. You have this like loop of the society where like it's once again, it's just it's cycles. It's not a market cycle. It's it's the economy cycle, or human, I don't know, civilization cycle. There we go. It's more of a civilization cycle where, we're going through the easy times have created some easy men. These easy men, they don't know what delayed gratification is. They don't know. They want instant everything. That's why I love my entrepreneurial journey has taught me so much about how to create value to the world and get, value in return in the form of dollars, right? Now I have to take dollars and put them and store them in crypto because dollars are going to zero. So I have to Maddie's point, I got to go store it in crypto to amplify my wealth. But yeah, we're at a cycle for human civilization is, we're seeing that turnover where E Times has created easy men, and easy men are now creating back hard times again. We're going to go through those hard times again, whether it happens now or 2026 or 2030. I don't know. It still remains to be seen, but I mean, something's coming.
Yeah.
It's,
And the credit system doesn't help because it allows
we're in a
you
debt
to,
system.
it allows you to keep your quality of life even though you don't deserve it.
Right.
Yeah.
Once again. So go ahead, Maddie.
And there's a new saying that I'm saying right now, and it's like AI creates weak men because it creates easy times, good times, and so that's why you need Time Pays Me to pay yourself to stay on track.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that. I mean, period. I need crypto in my life, period, to amplify my wealth because my wealth is getting destroyed that I create for my entrepreneurial journey by the dollar. So you have to use another tool. Now, real estate's a great tool too, but real estate's a very slow moving vehicle. Like you really have, I'm talking like 20 years. Like I want wealth within, a few years, and crypto provides that. And to your point, Matt, if somebody who knew that they needed a little bit of extra help of diamond handing, Time Pays Me is a great
well,
option.
I'm referring to a different function of Time Pays Me, right? Because there's all these like Easter eggs, and one of the Easter eggs in Time Pays Me is that you can pay yourself for achieving a goal, and you can set goals and increase your productivity. And so when I did this, I was extremely surprised that all of the areas of my life got in order, not just the area where I set the goal. So that's one of the end games of the system is of all like the smart contracts that I'm creating is to make it so that people have control over their own productivity and motivation, whether you suffer from a lack of motivation or maybe you're already an extremely high performer and you need to program in some like relaxation into your day or something. So
that's great.
Yeah. Take some time off and meditate.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's it. And here's a good point from Adi Wallo. Most of people don't like investing 10 to 20, 30% of their paycheck and wait 4 to 8 years because it's because of that delayed versus short-term gratification right there. Everybody wants pleasure now, not later. It's that simple.
I'll tell you what's the hardest thing to do. The hardest thing to do is to let you drive around a Lamborghini for a few weeks, and then I come and take it away. That's one of the hardest things for humans to do is to step down the quality of life. And
I just did it.
You did it, right?
I just did it.
It's almost better. It's almost better that person had never had it. And in some ways,
in a lot of ways, for most people, yes.
Yes, for most people, yes, because it's kind of like this. You bought a house and you realize that you haven't been putting enough into your long-term wealth bucket, which is like these other assets, but you got this mortgage that's crushing you, and you have to take a serious look and say, should I even be in this house? Is this house too big for me? Or is this car that I just bought, is this too much car? And it could be something as simple as like selling the car and downsizing to something smaller, something more affordable, something that if it cuts your car payment in half, you could take that other half and just DCA into all of these other assets. And it's the same car. It gets you from A to B. It's just the way it looks on the outside. And if you care too much about what the car looks like, you need better friends. So I'm being real. And one of the hardest things is for people to downsize their life in order to pay their future self.
I know Sprack has seen this movie.
I downsized to a toy.
Yeah.
This is my car that I sold, and I downsized to a toy. Keep it on my desk
to further illustrate what you guys are talking about, and maybe add something. It's I know Sprack has seen the movie Trading Places because he comes from Legacy Finance.
Yep.
Corey and Frank, have you guys seen this movie with Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd?
Oh, I have. I do recall it. It's an older movie.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's from like the end of the 80s or
80s,
something. But
mid-80s.
But so that's a perfect example of you take somebody who's living on the streets and you give them a high-flying Wall Street banker job. Well, in this case, it was the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, right? And they're trading orange futures, which is ironic because of Howie and stuff, like was an orange grove field. So Easter eggs in it. But yeah, and then you take Dan Aykroyd, the guy who has everything, and but you know, it's something inside of him that you're a bad person, and you change him from the life to living on the streets, and he starts doing the same exact thing that quote unquote bad people do. But this helps to reinforce the idea that people the time preference, as Bitcoiners would call it, or like the delayed gratification, as Hexicans would call it. These are not things that are like, you know, it's not like the person who's deciding that, it's their environment and their learning history. And so that's actually really good news for the world, because it means that you can take everybody who's not productive and you can allow them to be productive and happy if you give them the right tools.
Yep. Yeah, it's absolutely accurate. Your environment makes up your whole entire being. There's a saying in the entrepreneur world: if you want to know what somebody's net worth is, look at the 5 closest of his friends and see what their net worth is. You'll know what his is, because we're just a product of our environment and the people we hang out with, the where we live, what we're watching, what we're consuming. Like, I love watching the Hexican content and PulseChain content because it's such a positive, especially YouTubers, such a positive message, like 99% of the time, and it's great uplifting stuff. Like, I love watching your stuff, Maddie. I watching Crypto Coffees. I love watching Crispy Man's. I love watching Access Alive. All these guys have great input into my environment, right? I choose my environment. I'll give you another example. On the opposite side, I used to go on Twitter all the time and hang out in the chat. I stopped doing that so much recently because the environment is not something I enjoy anymore. So I removed myself out of that environment. That's all it was. But we are definitely 100% a product of our environment. That is 100% true. So that's why I love being. Go ahead, Frank.
Sorry, you love what?
Oh, I said that's why I want to be on the PulseChain conference. I know that environment is going to be some sick ass mofos dropping the alpha. Like, why wouldn't you want to be there? Like, I want to be there. Like, go ahead, Frank. What were you saying?
Yeah, Twitter can be very degrading, and I've noticed that when I've put the signal on to have it notify you notifications, I've reduced them greatly in the last couple of weeks. I'm just like, I can't take it. I don't need the negative hits to my mental. It's hard enough to stay positive as a human being, but to get things on a consistent. I don't watch the news. I don't typically.
I don't either.
A little bit of the newspaper, but I pretty much only read the sports section and listen to crypto. So I feel so narrowly focused. So if you ask me about world issues, I don't really know a lot about world issues. Not that I don't care about people, but I just really don't. I really don't delve into that. If you want to talk sports or crypto, I'm here. Or real estate, I'm here. So.
Yeah.
And love. Yeah. I love is another one too.
Well, you wrote a whole book on finding your perfect match or something like that.
Yeah, I wrote a book called it's hard to believe it's been 20 years ago already. Why Wait? Create Your Soulmate Now. It's a book that teaches single people how to attract their ideal partner. And, it works. It still works. It's, even though it's been, I don't really promote it too much anymore, just because it's a part of my life funny story is, I almost feel like I wrote the book in order to make sure that my relationship was a success. That was a bonus from it. Like, I think anybody in life could be divorced many times in their relationship. It's how you work through that. And the book and the infrastructure of the book itself caused me to just be a better person in my relationship and walk the talk, And so, it's a great tool. It's a great tool for single people to, I help people get started. So the book helps people get started. If they've lost hope in finding someone, the book will get you started and get you back on a path that will set you straight on finding the right person. So anyway, thanks for bringing that up, Corey. Appreciate it.
Hey, it's soft shill, man.
Soft
shill
shill.
your stuff, man. That's what we're all about here. Yeah, and it's positive stuff. Like, we're shilling positive stuff, and we got Paul Sachs up, brother, man. You're always like, you're like the new Brizology. He'd always come in at the top of the hour, like, when we're winding things down. Like, you're in an hour and 7 minutes. What's up, bro?
Well, usually gonna be if I'm at work, so I get off at noon on these days. So just gonna be the way it is, unfortunately.
So we got to move our show an hour later for you.
Possibly, yeah. I know it's right in the middle of your guys' lunchtime, but.
Hey, should we ask Paul the golden question right now, which we kind of started off talking about at the beginning? Like, what are your thoughts on iBurn, Paul?
If it's anything like Gifford and the PGIF chart, it's not so much, like I said last night, it's not so much about the pumps. Those are always nice. It's about how far it retraces and how fast everything picks back up. That's what's super bullish to me.
Yeah.
18 to 22% on a dip is like, you can't. Good luck playing the trading game on that. You aren't going to catch that.
Yeah,
so
that's it. I was talking about it's the sell pressure that you really have to absorb, and how well it will absorb that sell pressure will determine if it's going to be a success. It's not the buy pressure. Once candles are going up, that's a perpetual. Like, people FOMO in green candles. It's self-fulfilling, right? Like, that part's easy. It's the freaking selling.
If it all works, there's no flaws or nothing, which I don't think it is. They've got it working in the background and have for a little while. So I don't think it's anything like that, that there should be any faults with it. I'm more interested in the downstream effects. I want to see what it does to Hex, does to restarting, getting people interested. I know the biggest plague for Maddie probably has been, how do we get people interested in T-shares and staking again? And I think this is a good source on
candles.
Well,
green candles
come.
will do it. Yeah,
those come.
Green candles because people are interested, period. It's like Sami always says, green candles make people smarter.
Everybody wants green candle amnesia. Come on.
It's the opposite of the way we should work as humans, but unfortunately, it's just how it is. I mean, that's why we have to force ourselves so hard to buy the bottom when things are bottoming. Like, I tell people all the time, like, I was throwing up in my mouth when I was buying the SEC bottom. Literally, it felt disgusting, but I was doing it because I was sticking to my plan and sticking to my what I believed was true. And now I'm rewarded for it. Same like Sprack Burger. He's talking about that too earlier. I'm still up on my bottom buys. Like, I'm still up. Like, it was one of the greatest decisions made, but it was not an easy one. It's easy to buy green candles, Paul Sachs. That is so easy.
Easy on the front side. Later on, you regret it.
Go ahead, Paul Sachs. Say it again.
Oh, I said easy on the front side. Oh.
That normally have for me.
I think it's feeding back to Norbert.
Norbert, see what you do. If I mute him, there we go. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds good.
I muted them until he gets that all worked out. What were you finish your comment there, Paul?
Just well, I'm sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, that's it, man. So we all started creating green cans instead of creating red ones. I mean, I wish it was that easy, but it's just not. You're always going to have bulls and bears in anything you do in life. Like you have summers, you have winters. It's just that's how it works. Now, how we deal with it's a whole different story. And if we have a protocol that helps absorb some of the buy or sell pressure, I'm all about it, man. I don't think that's ever been created before in crypto, though. I don't know where like a constant flow of buy pressure could come in. I want to believe it could happen, but let's see when people are selling like $50,000 clips, $100,000 clips, $500,000 clips. Can iBurn absorb that technology, absorb that kind of sell pressure? Like that's what I really want to see. Like that's how you've really cracked the code, right? Like some of us got some big bags of this stuff. There's a lot of big bag holders in Hex. There's a lot of big bag holders in Pulse. I have some pretty decent sized bags. If I were to market sell my bags, I'd create probably a small red candle. And how well is this technology able to absorb that? That's going to be the true indicator of success. Right now on Gifford, Paul, it's like it's a meme coin. How much buy and sell pressure is really there right now? I want to see, like I said, once again, $50,000, $100,000, $500,000 clips, maybe $1 million of sell pressure. Can you absorb that? And how can you absorb that? Through the arbitrage.
Well, if you keep making these things reflexive and they're reflexive on each other in a more mechanical fashion, I mean, it's still kind of same thing as like a tax token, except for, you're not having to adjust slippage and buy a tax. But when you have them one buy over here, X acts as a function on, initially we're seeing there's a 15%, so acts as in 22X buy pressure over on Gifford whenever you execute on the iBurn for, I think it's going iBurn to the PI burn, it'll put a 15% of that total buy over on Gifford. So if you keep doing that, essentially it's just like what we see the giant web out of Atropa, and how things are constantly reflective back on each other.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it, man. Glad something positive came out of the Titan X ecosystem, because I know this is where this idea was originated from. So I'm happy to see something come over to our ecosystem that was positive from that. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Did you by chance buy eHex on the March 12th dip? I was just curious if that felt worse than the SEC dip.
Was the March 12th when basically the Richard Hart kind of like
that was a community freak out over RHs.
Yeah, no, I
the first time Richard ever said that either.
I think I bought the eHex bottom. Now that's part of my meme coin game bag. You know what I mean? That's like I do 9-10 like Sami talks about, like, and that's part of my 10% is I hold some eHex in there now. Because I mean, if I'm going to accumulate hex, and I've been doing that before, even before the Richard Hart, when he was talking about it, when I want to buy hex, I buy P hex. But if I'm playing a little bit of a leverage on P hex or playing a meme coin game, I buy E hex. I think E hex now has become leverage on P hex the way Icosa is leverage on P hex. It doesn't need to be supported by the founder. Icosa is not supported by Richard Hart, but it's leverage on hex. So is eHex. eHex, it's just a meme coin theory. I think eHex is leverage on PHEX. So if PHEX goes up, I think eHex is going to go up too. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Currently, I would warrant, like, real quick on that point. Yes, for the time, because there's lower people holding it, so it will be faster to go up. But treat it more, if you're looking for chart validation, treat it more like Ethereum Classic, where at times Ethereum Classic moved faster against Ethereum, but in the long run, it was not the better of holds. So,
right. Agreed. Yeah. Yep. That's it. What's up, Norbert?
Hello.
What's the good word,
gents.
brother? You're here at the wind down of the show. What's going on?
Right at the end, yeah. It's just a couple of things. I'm sorry I missed you guys. I was with my wife in the park. Beautiful weather. Good to see you all. I was thinking about I was I was
ahead,
thinking
sorry.
about what you were just saying, and also recently the price performance. Many of my friends and associates are telling me, "Oh, what's going on with crypto? Why the X's are not coming? You know, what's gonna happen?" Um, the thing is, regarding Icosa and Hedron, actually Richard not supporting directly, but he kind of
He
shouted out,
mentioned it. Mhm.
mentioned it, that he thinks that Alex is a genuine, good-hearted person with good intentions. So yeah, that was definitely positive. And also I would like to know. It looks like everyone is leaving now, but I would like to know what you think about this. I strongly believe that if Hex were able to be sold to the general public as a good asset class to be invested in, and then fair enough, now the rotation happened. Some people took profit, some people left because they have other things to chase. But I strongly believe that is only a very narrow group of people have been catched up to now. And I think that at the moment, like I always say, is that many people are chasing these meme coins and stuff like that, things which are these younger generation, easy to reach, like they hear about it in their circles. But in my opinion, we haven't had the opportunity to explain all these things to the people who really have money and who really would be interested and open up for these new asset class, to say, yeah, I heard about crypto, it's Bitcoin is going quite well. And I think we should focus on those kind of guys, which we definitely not gonna reach by wearing Gucci bags and whatnot. That's for sure.
Hey, the Gucci bags is what attracted me, bro. His outrage marketing brought me over.
Yeah, but you are you're a good exemption. Like if I would show to most of my people who are surrounding me those kind of things, I don't think they would be like, yeah, here is my money, take my money.
But yeah, but he started doing that when Hex was 25 cents and 50 cents. So
That's
it's
true.
like, did you want your closest people that have lots of money buying Hex at 50 cents, or do you want to onboard them at the bottom?
No, don't take me wrong. I'm not here to criticize Richard. I'm just saying, generally speaking, like because I speak to these guys, and then they are interested, So we need people like you, for example, or like Crypto Coffee or Axis, who can, or Frank, someone who's got like maturely can explain these things. That I strongly believe that it could be a good fit for you, and perhaps about 5% of your portfolio. You can try to invest in this asset class, because
Definitely.
right now the hype is up on these silly tokens. But on the long term, when this hype is gonna come down, I strongly believe that all those guys gonna be like, okay, so why no money, no more money? What is the more money? Yeah, I want more money. It's not gonna come. Then probably we can catch the long-term kind of thinkers, the people who are builders and wanna be here for longer time.
Yeah. So far there have been more people coming in lately compared to the top that are interested in long term. So even though they're not the loudest group, but there's people.
Yep.
There's been a churn of like the loud exiting haters. That's one group and they're selling their bags to people who are thinking more long term during this whole bear. So it should be interesting to see when all of a sudden the tables turn and there's no more price jeets left.
Yeah, and don't discount meme coins. I think they're here to stay.
Yeah, Hex is a meme coin
They're here
after
Hex
all.
is a meme
Don't
coin.
discount it.
Don't discount it.
EHEX is my meme coin. I
Yeah.
got some EHEX
Like
in my bag as a meme
Hey, the
coin.
first,
So
yeah,
as
the
I
first
said last time, if you
meme
want to
coin.
be investing in Bitcoin, meme coin, in life is always is something what you resonate with, something what you can connect with. If that's your cup
5
of
minutes
tea,
community, bro.
be
It's
my guest,
community.
like by all means, community, hang around with those people, talk about some hairy body parts with mixed with other body parts. I don't mind, my people, we don't talk about body parts, that's for sure. We talk about other things, but yeah.
But with Dingleberry, fancy your
Or
vibe,
or
your
if we
body,
or
your
if we talk about dogs, we talk about real dogs. For example, this one, yeah, is a cutie. Can't
Hey.
see it.
Oh, there
Yeah.
comes the Norbert dog meme coin. What's
There's
his
a
name?
dog.
Bubble,
Hey,
Bubble.
Bubble.
Bubble, yeah.
That meme coin.
Hey Norbert, I
He's
got
busy.
one.
He's active.
Norbert, I got one
Hey, Paul.
request. You can never stop calling it. You need to always pronounce it Maymay coins. I loved it when you used to call them Maymay coins.
Meme coins.
Yes.
Oh my god. By the way, guys,
Bitcoin. Some people call it Bitcoin. What about this Bitcoin? Is going pretty good.
Bitcoin was the first meme coin, right? So there you go. And,
I
and
mean,
you know
it still
what?
had a lot of
I-
purpose besides send and receive for the most part.
yeah. I mean, think about it. I came from the stock world, and stocks are memes too. Stocks
Yeah,
are memes.
exactly.
They're a meme, right? Because it's like, oh, I own some shares.
Overvalued.
I own some
Extremely
shares.
overvalued.
No. There's no such thing. There's no such thing.
Wow.
Value is what the market gives it. So you buy some Starbucks stock. Can you go into the Starbucks and say, give me a free coffee? No, you can't do that. You can't fire someone, change the item menus. I think we've been through this before, right? But all you hold is the ability to sell your stock to someone else later on.
Yep.
Now, the meme comes from if I collect 51% of the shares and assume majority control, then I could fire the CEO, I could rearrange the company, I could do some things, right? But none of us has the money to do that. It's only like the top sort of holders in that ecosystem that have control. So it's a giant pyramid. And the guys at the top, the CEO, CFO, the CEO, the chairman of the board, they're the ones in control of that ship. They decide what happens to the money that comes in from the profits. They decide how many stores they're going to open, how many people they're going to hire, et cetera, rolling out new products, giving discounts, et cetera. Whatever they need to do to make that company profitable. Because remember, stocks trade on earnings. If I buy this goose that lays golden eggs, how long till I pay my money back? How long until I get all the money that I invested in? That's the trick. That's that Warren Buffett mentality. Like they buy these big boring companies that just generate cash flow. They just generate cash flow. That's the meme. Again,
Yeah,
it's
but
just
those people you're talking about is a very narrow group of people because technically, if you think about it, how many people you can name who really sits down and go through like balance sheet of each companies? People making emotional decisions and the market value everything by greed. It's nothing to do with earnings and shit like that. Like, do you really think that people sit down at home? Oh, what is the earning for Tesla? Okay, so they've done 19.5%. No, it's just they just see that the price is going up, they jump on it. So it's like it's betting. Everything is a betting. I learned that since I'm doing crypto and trading as well. Everything is betting.
I can't name these people by hand, but I know.
Yeah, but very narrow. It's 7 billion people on Earth. Because you're a sophisticated investor and you chartist and you do analytics. You're a smart guy. But majority of the people, they don't sit at home and going through balance sheet.
Let me answer your question. The people that are doing the analysis that I just spoke about are the people that control 99% of the wealth in the world. Okay, these are the people that have the largest pension funds. These are the people that have these sovereign wealth funds. These are the people that control a massive amount of money. You're talking trillions of dollars. Okay, and they have a team of people. They have a whole floor, maybe even multiple floors of analysts, all sitting in desks doing computational Monte Carlo analysis on 10,000 different trajectories on the market stability over the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years. And
financial theater.
And yes, there you go. But they're doing this, they're doing this in a way to manage people's money because they're on the hook to protect that money. And so this is the big show. This is the big game, right? This is the one that the guys that you're trying to attract into our ecosystems, right? The ones that you're saying that, if these big guys just came and stepped in,
No, not the market movers. I didn't talk about market movers coming into crypto and coming into our chain. I talk about a well-positioned family man who's got, at least 100K saving, and he doesn't mind chucking in 20K in crypto. I was
well,
talking about those
his
guys.
financial
Hedge fund.
advisor isn't
I
going to
spoke
tell
to
him.
I
His
spoke to hedge
financial
fund
advisor
managers
isn't
as
going to tell
well.
him. His financial
spoke to hedge
advisor
fund.
is not going to tell him. His financial advisor is going to put him in index funds, and he's going to allocate 3 to 5% into the higher
Yeah,
risk
probably,
beta
but
assets.
he's not always hanging out with his financial advisor. Sometimes he goes to sauna, sometimes he goes for play water polo, sometimes he goes to the park, walk his dog. Then I get a chance to meet these guys, for example, and I talk to them, and then guess what? Then they, some of them becomes interested. I'm just saying, like I spoke to hedge fund managers as well, asset class managers, and then they're not interested. They're like, no, I don't want nothing to do with crypto, man. I'm fine. I'm gonna do my 8 to 10% a year. I'm managing billions of pounds or euros or whatever country you're living in. We live in UK. The guy is managing large amount of cash in pounds, and he said, I even said to him, look, I can sit down happily with you, explain it in front of your board, maybe just like a very tiny minuscule of allocation. Maybe you get familiar with it. You can take it to the next level. We said, no, we're not interested, man. We're fine with our money, and we don't want to do anything with that. So
They're actually not in control of their money. The regulators are.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, so
That's
there's-
why
As
they're
well,
not
yeah, it's
interested.
probably, yeah.
Yeah.
And the regulators, they don't even tell you what is the regulation. Like how you want me to follow the rules if I don't even know what the rules are. This SEC thing is just like a joke.
On purpose.
seriously.
Yeah. It's really interesting how
I'm
super
here to
rich
protect
people,
you. Yeah, come on,
they,
man.
they
Yeah,
don't
what
always
about
know that they don't have control over their money. Cause like, it seems like they do, cause they can hire somebody to chart what the earnings are, do all this financial theater. But if they want to move, $10,000 into crypto, now they have to go beg a middleman at the bank, and the bank says, nope, you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, that's also ridiculous. Like,
your whole job relies on you, being in charge of all this money. So you're not allowed to interact with real money, with crypto.
Yeah, I think
fascinating.
that we're not necessarily. There's no wrong answer here, and I appreciate what everybody's doing to do their onboards, but just my personal opinion is the way to storm the Capitol is you kick down the front door, and you're only going to attract the investor class of all types with big green candles. That's it. That's the only reason why Bitcoin was able to kick down the front door of the financial markets, and they were they were first one to get an ETF. I don't know if that's a good thing or not yet. I'm still kind of on the fence. It could be a Trojan
yeah, because
horse.
it can be controlled and manipulated,
It could
which
be
is not.
a horse in two different directions. Okay, I'm still kind of like debating that.
Yep.
But what I do know, is that the successful products are the ones that people talk about, and if you have a successful product, people will have no choice but to listen, and that's it. Like there was Tesla stock that had extremely bad fundamentals. There was like they weren't earning money. There was the people were shorting it to death, but it did like 1,000x. And
Amazon was the same. No one believed in it at the beginning. They barely
despite the
managed
market, right? So like these analysts can be wrong, right? They could be wrong, and this goes back to what I was saying, that everything is a meme, and if it generates enough cultural significance,
Yeah, that's what Apple was.
It will absorb a majority of the attention, and we talked about this before. That attention is one of the most valuable commodities on the planet, if not the most valuable commodity. Why'd you buy the Lamborghini? Because you wanted attention. Why'd you get a family? Because you wanted attention. The most valuable.
It's gonna be a very long process. It's gonna be a long.
Yeah. It's fine. It's fine if like the world sees money as a meme now, but that's not what money really is. Money is really goods and services, and that's the opposite of a meme. And
Correct.
so at the end of the day, we can keep like denominating our lives in attention and like because of the advertisers that need to sell to us and stuff. But like, yeah, at the end of the day, I think that the way that the financial system works now is not the way the financial system should work in the future.
I agree.
It's
Yeah.
all about based on manipulation and yeah. Since I'm doing trading in a bit over a year, sometimes you just see like a massive candle coming out of nowhere. There's no chart is gonna tell you, oh, because the buy side liquidity, the sell side liquidity, oh, this fair value gap. None of that. It's like forget it. You just sit there and like bam, 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 and then one candle wipes out the last 5 hours of work of people. Like, I should invest a bit more. Yeah, let's buy a bit more. And then just one candle wipes everything out. So everything is based on manipulation. But I strongly believe that, like I mentioned that last time, that we as a person, when you start focusing on finance and crypto and trading and investments, you put yourself on a path that you have to become a better person, because you can only be successful and wealthier if you make better decisions. How can I make better decisions? I have to become a better person, and that's what I wanted to bring up as a point, that we have to be appeal to a certain group of people, like I said, who's got their mind right, they have their finances right, and then they don't see some kids fighting on Twitter. Oh, you said this. Oh, what about then? Yeah, you said that. Like, who cares? What did you say, man? Yesterday you said something. Guess what? It's history, man. Today is something else. The whole table is just turned around, and then now we talk about something else. So it's I am right. No, I am right. Who cares that you are right, man? Like, no one cares about you, man. Seriously, like 7 billion people on Earth. Imagine if 7 billion people at the same time would say something it doesn't matter. We all should be like, okay, do I resonate with that person? Do I find this investment asset class as a potential in my life? Yes. Then find out more about it. Then learn more about it. The connect, resonate. And my point is that, fair enough, we're far away from being successful on a wider scale. But guess what? If we catch one guy, then that one guy, he has his own circles, who also has money, and they have wealth, and they talk about business and like golfing and like water polo, whatever. Then they're gonna be like, so how is life, man? Oh, yeah, I met this guy the other day, like he pointed out that there are some pretty interesting people, and they know what they're talking about. The product market fit is good because there's no human intervention. Like Hex is perfect. It's perfectly designed. You cannot interfere with it. And what's causing the market to go up and tank down? Manipulation. You cannot manipulate Hex. Fair enough at the moment, because there was like a small gap of people who had a large amount of tokens. You could manipulate it, kind of, because all the emotions were like, oh my God, the SEC, sell everything. Mate, you had so much money before, man. Why don't you provide liquidity and then get the money out that way? Like get every week out 10K, like why do you need to sell today and then you experience 20-30% slippage, for example? It doesn't make any sense. Let the money do its thing. It generated the thing. Get the money out in 1 year, and then it's still gonna be more than you would have got anyway.
You think too rational with your brain there, Norbert. You got to remember, crypto Twitter and most people in crypto are not rational
at the moment.
They're
because
just,
we have these guys who are like, the dog with the hat, the body part with the hair on it,
in
Don't
general
fade dog with hat,
shows
man. Don't fade
people's
the dog with the
true
hat.
colors.
I don't hate it,
at a
man. You
very
do whatever you
granular
want,
level.
man. You invest your money whatever you want.
I didn't say hate it. I said don't fade it.
Yeah, fade it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, don't fade it. Don't fade memes,
Max
man.
making money off Dogwood Hat. But
I-
guys,
Yeah, I wish you all the
me
best, man.
down.
Oh, you're gonna make money is fine by me, man. Like if you make money on your meme tokens, then happy
here's what
days,
I'm gonna say. The people that are doing well in crypto successfully, they were doing well in life already. The people that are getting absolutely
most of the time.
wrecked, that are getting wrecked. Okay, mostly. I'm making a general statement, and I apologize to the outliers. Most people that are doing well in crypto were already crushing it in whatever other industry that they were doing, and they're just translating their skills in these other businesses into crypto for the most part. The people that are getting wrecked are the people that are diving in with no
Greedy,
experience, no
mm,
no knowledge,
They're
no
overexposed or
impatient.
correct, impatient,
Impatient.
all of the
Yep.
I
things.
want my
So,
1000x this week. I
right.
heard about
And
this cat with a swimming dress.
most of my onboards, okay, most of my onboards on the last cycle, I told them, stick to like some of the more stable assets first before you dive into anything higher risk. Buy some Ethereum, buy some Bitcoin, buy some, if you want to go down the risk curve, you could start doing layer ones and things like that. They didn't listen to me. They bought
Of
Shiba.
course.
They bought Shiba token and got absolutely wrecked. Absolutely wrecked. And it wasn't the I told you so moment. It was something where it was just like, it's a two-way street, by the way. Learning is a two-way street. What they've learned is that you need to have some sort of a thesis, and you need to have some sort of a plan around that thesis. And if your plan is to DCA or look at market cycles or do some research and figure out which asset classes have been around for the past few cycles, which ones you think are going to be around in the next few cycles, tokenomics, et cetera, go do your own research and figure out your strategies. The other thing that I learned from them was they're going to do this again, and they're going to keep doing this again. And not maybe that person, but two things are going to happen.
Noob.
Yep. The new people coming into the market. And I have no control over them. And I could give them the best quote unquote non-financial advice, but they're going to they push the buy button, they push the sell button, and they decide what ticker or what community. Remember, you're buying into culture. They decide what community they want to participate in. And we have to be open with what they do with their money, just as much as we want people to be acceptance of what we do with our community and we do with our money. And they can, there's this tribalism where they're saying, oh yeah, Hexicans are a cult, right? Well, Bitcoin was the first cult. And
Cult of Satoshi.
And Apple's a cult.
Apple was a cult too.
The Green Bay Packers is a cult. These are cults because they're epicenters of cultural significance where a community can bond and form this unified whatever you want to call it, this unified sort of like community, social interaction. Again, humans were designed for social interaction, and they were designed to be part of something greater than themselves. And there's fulfillment in that, and there's community in that. He keeps buying bottoms. So what the reason I said don't fade the whiff is because that's another cult. That's another community, and you shouldn't really knock them too much, because you don't want people doing the same to your cult or to whatever it is that you're invested in. Both of these things are just as valid as each other. Just because one of them is you look down on them, they're just human beings out here trying to do the same thing you're trying to do. And we have to be a little bit more compassionate with them. And in my approach, and maybe this is not the right way to do it, but I capitalize on it. I really don't.
Well, you're a trader.
I'm a trader.
You're a professional trader.
I capitalize on it.
To speak to your point, remember the rallies that Donald Trump did in 2015 and 2016, whether you like it or not, and agree with the guy or don't, that was an entire cult movement.
For sure.
That
100%.
Between that and the Pepe meme cycle of back in those days, it literally memed a guy into the White House. So
I 100% agree with that. 100%. And a lot of it was because I knew voters that flipped. they were typically voting for the other parties, but they flipped parties not because they liked the guy, but because they wanted him to come in and destroy and just wreck things. And people are extremely fed up with the political system. I am too. This two-party system, where they kind of do these backdoor deals and keep themselves in power while enriching their families. And they're part of the Fed. They're part of the central banking committee. They're all in cahoots. They want the system to stay the same. And one of the things that Trump represented something outside the system, and something where we had to like witness a car crash in order for the vehicle to stop from going off a cliff. And maybe that's what this is. I don't know. It wasn't pretty. I'll tell you that. Things got ugly, but something had to change, right? Something had to change. But yeah, just going back to cultural significance on any of these tokens. I don't care if you want to buy ink, even though there is zero use case for it
at the moment.
At the moment.
And actually, it's not
At the
true.
moment.
It's not true, because that's the only way. That's the one of the way of earning more money, earning yield. It's like part of the system. It's like a gearbox on a car. Without the gearbox, the
So
car is not gonna move. So you need incentive
you earn
token
more.
to pair it with something else.
So guys, I got
That's
to
how you
wind
earn
it
your
down
thing.
here.
Oh
I
yeah,
gotta
yeah.
wind it down.
You have to
Before
go.
I
Yeah,
wind it down, I want Maddie to shill the PulseChain
Yeah.
conference so everybody here watching knows what time we're starting and where to go watch it. Maddie, can you shill that real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. At the PulseChain conference, you can learn more about it at pulsechainconference.com. It's a 4-night event starting tonight at 6 p.m. Central Time. That's 7 p.m. Eastern. It's 4 p.m. on the West Coast. And wherever you are in the world, you can go to pulsechainconference.com and click on the time calculator and figure out what time we start. It's posted. The landing pages are on my YouTube. We have the Fire Whale. We have BitBoy. We have 100 other people who are ready to talk about how much they love PulseChain, including Corey Geary and many more.
on Sunday.
Yeah,
Let's
Sunday.
go.
Make sure
Sunday night.
Corey on
yeah,
Sunday
make sure
night.
to give it a watch.
I know.
Richard Hart said to watch it.
Richard Hart said to watch it. There it is. I enjoy it every single time. I love being part of the cult for culture. Like Brazology says, I consider myself a Pulsekin, Hetzikin. I love all you guys. You guys are a great community, part of family, if you will. I've literally made a new family throughout this entire crypto journey, which has been absolutely phenomenal. But I do got to get out of here, guys. I got an onboarding call here in 10 minutes, so hopefully it goes well. Hopefully we can get them into the PulseChain ecosystem. That's always the goal. So, guys, we appreciate you. Make sure to go to watch the PulseChain conference. And, Maddie, that is Friday through Monday, right? Monday is the last,
right.
so it's a 4-day event.
Monday is the launch anniversary of PulseChain.
Yes. That's what I was going to ask. Is it Monday or 1 year?
Good timing.
Yes.
1 year, right? It's our birthday.
Impeccable time.
That's right.
That is, man. That's exciting. So, all right, guys. Well, peace. We'll be back next week. Same time, same place. Make sure to watch the PulseChain conference and watch us Sunday night. I do believe it's 9 p.m. EST that we're on. I'll have to double check the schedule. But, yes, come watch us. Watch the whole thing so you don't have to guess when we're on. That's the best way to do it. So, guys,
Yes.
I'll see you. And have a good one. Peace.
Take
All
care.
the best.